Two separate train derailments hit Russia's Leningrad Oblast on the 14th of September, one involving 15 fuel tanker cars, the other killing a train driver. Just a day earlier, 3 Rosgvardia personnel were killed by an explosive device planted on railway tracks in Orel Oblast. Russian authorities are investigating all incidents as possible sabotage. These instances of possible Ukrainian rail sabotage in Russia come amid Ukraine's broader campaign to disrupt Russian military logistics in the ongoing Russo-Ukrainian war. While recent long-range drone strikes have primarily targeted oil processing facilities and fuel transport infrastructure, railways have also seen increased targeting due to the Russian army's heavy reliance on rail for movement. However, confirmed reports of physical sabotage on railway tracks remain relatively scarce compared to the frequency of drone attacks on trains and rail-linked power substations. According to Russian Governor of Leningrad Oblast Alexander Drozdenko, a locomotive pulling 15 empty tank cars derailed in Lushsky district at the Stroganovo-Mashinskaya rail section. No casualties were reported. Drozdenko stated that 2 emergency recovery trains were dispatched from St. Petersburg to the site of the incident. As a result of the derailment, train movement was blocked in 2 directions. 10 suburban electric trains were delayed or cancelled. Ukrainian telegram channel Exilanova Plus reported on the derailment, and another channel, Supernova Plus, claimed sabotage affected 2 separate railway segments in Leningrad Oblast, specifically in Lushsky and Gachina districts. Russian news telegram channel Astra reported another derailment in the same oblast near the station of Semrino, located in Gachina district. In this incident, a lone locomotive left the tracks. The train driver was trapped inside the cabin and later died in the ambulance, Astra wrote. Governor Drozdenko confirmed that sappers were deployed to the scene. He also noted that investigators were examining the version of sabotage. On the 13th of September, an explosive device detonated on the Maloarkhangelsk-Glazunovka rail segment in Orel Oblast, killing 2 Rosgvardia National Guard members and injuring another. 1 day later, the injured officer died, bringing the total death toll to 3. Governor of Orel Oblast Andrei Klitschkov initially confirmed the deaths of 2 personnel, and a day later he announced the 3rd fatality. Acting governor of Kursk Oblast, Alexander Kinstein later clarified that all 3 victims were Rosgvardia officers. The deaths reportedly occurred when the explosive went off directly under the rail path. Authorities are investigating the incident as an act of sabotage. Ukraine has intensified drone attacks on Russian railway infrastructure, triggering repeated disruptions to both military and civilian transport. On the 3rd of September, a drone hit Kutinikovo station in Rostov Oblast, damaging electrical systems and forcing a full evacuation. 26 passenger trains were delayed. On the 1st of September, drones struck a transformer substation in Kropotkin, Krasnodar Krai, igniting a fire and disabling a major southern railway hub feeding occupied Crimea. On 21st August, a strike on the Zhuravka railway power substation in Voronezh Oblast caused a fire. Earlier, on the 17th of August, a drone hit Lysky rail station in the same oblast, cutting power and disrupting southern rail traffic. Russian Railways cargo volumes reportedly dropped 5.4% in August 2025 year-on-year, the 3rd straight quarterly decline, with only 92.2 million tons moved amid mounting war costs and sanctions pressure. And there are casualties on Ukrainian side too. Ammunition exploded during railway transport near Kalinivka in Kyiv region, forcing an emergency evacuation of passengers from the Kharkiv-Przemysl train. The blast damaged the overhead line, halting rail traffic and delaying multiple trains. No casualties have been reported. Footage from Suspiln shows the site of last night's railway incident in Kyiv region, where an explosion damaged the tracks. Cleanup is ongoing, and some trains are being rerouted with delays of up to 2 to 3 hours expected throughout the day. According to the channel Dosius Fiona, Russian air defense suffered serious losses in the past 24 hours with the destruction of 2 Pantsir-S-1 systems. The first strike occurred at around 2 a.m. at an airfield in occupied Luhansk, where a Ukrainian Ram 2X drone successfully hit its target. Hours later, another Pantsir-S-1 was taken out in the town of Snizhna, Donetsk region. While the type of drone used in this second strike has not been disclosed, the result was the same. A significant blow to Russia's ability to shield its forces and infrastructure from Ukrainian aerial attacks. These operations highlight Ukraine's continued focus on systematically dismantling Russian air defenses across the occupied territories. Marco Rubio says Russia intentionally launched the drones that struck Poland, calling it a clear act. The United States Secretary of State labeled the incident dangerous, but stressed the need to confirm if Poland was the intended target. Warsaw, however, insists the breach was deliberate. Prediction: Putin will tell Witkoff it was not intentionally, and Trump will believe it, calling Putin a good man.
We think it's a unacceptable and unfortunate and dangerous development in this regard. I think it'll take a few more days for everybody to fully... The drones were intentionally launched. There's no doubt about the drones were intentionally launched. The question is whether the drones were targeted to go into Poland specifically. If that's the case, that if the evidence leads us there, then obviously that'll be a highly escalatory move. There are a number of other possibilities as well, but I think we'd like to have all the facts and consult with our allies before we make, specific determinations.
And this is a great article from The Guardian and Simon Tisdall. Trump is no strong man when it comes to Russia or Israel. If other democracies don't step up, anarchy awaits. It is too easy to blame Donald Trump for everything that goes wrong in the world. The ability of any U.S. president to fundamentally change or control the behavior of other major powers is frequently overestimated. Yet by posing as a sort of uncrowned global monarch and grand arbiter of war and peace, Trump perpetuates fantasies of U.S. hegemony, omnipotence, and divine right. Intoxicated by such ego-inflating delusions, he pledged before taking office to swiftly end the Ukraine and Gaza conflicts. Perhaps in his vanity and hubris, he truly believed he could. 8 months on, the exact opposite is happening. Both crises are expanding and escalating. The bubble has burst, his bluff has been called, the emperor has no clothes, and there is no denying that Trump, by alternately appeasing, excusing, and encouraging the two foremost villains of these twin tragedies, is greatly to blame. Last week's multiple Russian drone incursions into NATO member Poland, which Polish officials are right to call deliberate, risk transforming the Ukraine war into a Europe-wide conflagration. Likewise, the reckless, illegal Israeli airstrike in Qatar, which blew up the Gaza peace process, physically and metaphorically, has supercharged regional tensions. A common factor in both developments is U.S. weakness, which is to say, Trump weakness. Has any other U.S. president devoted so much effort to making himself look like a strong leader while failing miserably to act like one when it matters? Much of what he does, whether it's promulgating illegal executive orders, firing senior officials, bullying neighbors and defenseless migrants, ordering troops onto the streets of U.S. cities, backing a fellow coup leader in Brazil, or picking fights with judges and independent media, is about bolstering the strongman Trump image. The reality is very different. When Trump is faced by tough, unyielding opponents rather than soft targets, he folds. He chickens out. Russia's President Vladimir Putin and Israel's Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu worked this out long ago. Both men play him for a sucker. They flatter him. They spin lies about wanting peace. They offer easy wins. Then they go home, as was the case with Putin after last month's embarrassing Alaska summit, and carry on doing whatever they want, which usually involves even greater violence. When an angry Trump calls to complain, as after Netanyahu's Qatar raid, and whinges pathetically that he's not happy, he merely confirms his weakness and is ignored. Far from facilitating an end to these wars, Trump has become a prime obstacle to peace. His ill-considered interventions, grandstanding, and partiality make matters worse, prolonging both conflicts. His dearth of leadership skills, coupled with a lack of integrity and common sense, is shocking for Europeans, accustomed to dealing with mostly rational, relatively competent presidents. Trump's hostility to the EU and NATO, his tariff wars, and his anti-democratic machinations have further undermined Western cohesion and confidence. and boosted authoritarian regimes, The Guardian concludes.
Thanks for watching, and don't forget to subscribe. Also, if you want to support Warthog Defense, please become our member and get early access to new videos, exclusive members-only videos, and become administrator in comment section. The membership link is in the description.
Rescues every day. We had a guy last week, it's 6 rescues in 6 days. You know, he's doing the job every day.